Hi, I'm Stephanie, and this is Texas Peach Knits. This is a special spinning episode. I'm so glad that you joined me for today. If you're new, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. I had too much to share about spinning for my last episode, so I decided to do a primarily spinning episode all on its own. This probably won't be a frequent episode, but I might sprinkle in spinning episodes here and there depending on how much I have to share. I am celebrating my 1-year podcast anniversary in the month of September, and in my next episode, I will be doing a giveaway for having podcasted for 1 year. I will be giving away a very similar but not the same bag as this one, and this is my Texas Peach fabric. And I will also be including with the giveaway this lovely set of DK minis from my friend Liz of U and Dye. So this spring mini set, a Texas Peach project bag, and some of my Texas Peach stitch markers. Now, I do not have a business and I do not make project bags or stitch markers professionally, so this is just a sign of my appreciation and not a professionally made prize, though the yarn, I would say, is very beautiful and professional. The way you have a chance to win this 1-year anniversary prize is you leave a comment below that includes a question for my Q&A, which I will be filming during this month. So as long as you get your question in before I film my Q&A, then you will have a chance to win. I will be collecting all of the questions and drawing a random person from whoever asked a question, and that is how I will be choosing the winner for that. Now, I just finished up my Fluff Your Stash make-along that took place over the whole summer. I will be drawing prizes for that make-along during my next episode as well. So it will be a very prize-heavy episode, the next normal September knitting podcast. This is September 2023. Like I said, my name is Stephanie. I've been podcasting for a year. I live west of Fort Worth with my husband and my 4 children, and I love knitting and watching knitting podcasts while I knit, and that was the primary reason why I started podcasting. Later this month, actually in just a couple of weeks, the DFW Fiber Fest will be taking place. I do plan to attend the vendor fair, so if you see me there, please say hello. The fair is, the Fiber Fest is from Thursday, September 13th through Sunday, September 16th. It's in Irving, and the vendor fair is not open on Thursday, but it is open Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. They also have classes, and they might still have spots available. I won't be taking any classes this year. Irving is a little far for me, and it's still a little up in the air when I will be there for shopping. So if you see me, please say hello. So first of all, for this episode, I am planning to wrap up my Tour de Fleece information of all the things I did during the Tour de Fleece. I'm going to show you the prize I won from my little spinning group from Tour de Fleece. I plan to show you a couple of my hand-spun works in progress and also a hand-spun UFO that when I was fluffing my stash, I dug out of the back of a shelf and am having to make the decision whether or not to finish it or frog it. After all of that, I'm going to share with you my spinning wheel, which is right over here over my shoulder. It is an Ashford Traveler. I am going to set it up, show it to you, and do a tiny bit of spinning. If you're watching this, you may already be a spinner and not be interested in my wheel, but I know that there are many people out there who have not yet dived into spinning, and you might wonder what kind of tools you would need in order to start spinning yourself. And lastly, I have a few more spinning acquisitions and gifts from friends to show you at the end of the episode. So if you would like to stay for that and see some interesting spinning and fibery things, please stay till the end. So I'm going to start with the Tour de Fleece. This year, and I believe every year, the Tour de Fleece runs along with the Tour de France, which is the bicycle race. And it's just kind of a fun thing for spinners to do, to set themselves spinning goals during the Tour de France. And you can get as serious or as casual about this as you want. I tend towards casual just because I've got a lot of things going on and I don't want to add extra stress to my life with something that is a hobby and is fun for me. So this year, my goal was to just spin every day. And I included things like plying, things like winding off my yarn after it had been plied. All of that I included in spinning because it's things you have to do in a certain amount of time. And I only have one spinning wheel, and so I couldn't let things rest and spin on a different spinning wheel. It just wasn't going to work for me. So just basically work on spinning in some capacity every day. And I actually made a lot of progress. I find when you have a goal of just do the thing every day, you're going to make progress. And sometimes you end up doing it for much more time than you think you would have to do it, or you get into it and then you don't want to stop, or you find I mean, I could spin all the time, especially when I have a podcast or something to keep me company. I also like to bring my spinning wheel into the living room with my family if we're watching a movie or something like that together. So my first spin of the Tour de Fleece, I already showed on my other podcast, so I'll just show it quickly. I started this on July 1st, and I completed the skein on July 11th. So this is a 2-ply, about a sport weight wool that I spun, and it is a mystery wool. I'm not exactly sure what the fiber content was. This was given to me by a friend with some destashed things a very long time ago. Like, it could have been 7 or 8 years ago. So I don't remember, and I don't think she had a tag with it. So very happy with this, and I can look up how many yards I had. So this one ended up being 322 yards out of 4 ounces of fiber. So very excited to see how this knits. That's one of the most exciting things about Handspun, is it's like a surprise every time when you knit it. You can kind of plan what you want it to look like and make plans with your fiber, but ultimately you're not going to know exactly what it's going to be like until you knit it. So the next spinning I did during Tour de Fleece, I started on July 13th, it looks like. And this, I knew what it was. It was Fat Fiber Falkland in the Frittily Butterfly colorway, which was a mustardy yellow and brownish colorway, and Fiber Obsessions 75 BFL 25 Tessa Silk in a sunset, I believe it was a sunset colorway. I didn't write that down. But so I ended up with this. And I know I've already shown this, but it is 2 strands of the pink sunset color and 1 strand of the mustard brown colorway. So this is a true 3-ply. It was my first time doing a 3-ply. I had 8 ounces of the sunset color and 4 ounces of the mustard color, so I ended up with 12 ounces. Actually, after it was spun, it was 11.8 ounces, and I ended up with 466 yards. So this is all of the yarn, and it is mostly a heavy worsted. So I'm very, very pleased with how this turned out. What I would like to do with it is I would like to knit a colorwork yoke sweater, and I don't know if I would want it to be almost all this in the yoke, or because I don't think I want like a fair aisle. I'll show you what I'm thinking. And I haven't chosen a pattern yet, and I don't know what color I would use with this. So I have a lot of things to still consider before I knit this yarn. So out of this Garter Ridge book by Knit Picks, there is a sweater pattern that I think something similar to this is what I'm looking for to do. So this pattern is called the Karkik Pullover, and it is a multicolored yoke using multiple colors of yarn, but what I would do is I would just swap out all the colors with just my Handspun, and then one solid main color. In this case, they used white. So this is what it looks like. So as you can see, it has some reverse stockinette and some garter bumps in the colors mixed with that white main color. So I think something like this would be really lovely with this yarn. If you could imagine that. So I don't know, I'm going to ponder it. I'm going to maybe do some more pattern browsing, but this is kind of the direction I'm going to help highlight the Handspun. And that's one of the fun things about having Handspun is even if you have only one skein, you could incorporate it into a project as like the pop piece of the project and then use it with a commercial yarn. So like I said at the beginning, I did win a prize. I just am a part of a little spinning group where we like to share our spinning with each other and talk about spinning things. It's just a small group of friends. And my friend Brenda offered to do prizes for the Tour de Fleece, which it's fun to win prizes, you know that. So I ended up winning one of the prizes that she gave away, and that the main part of the prize was the fact that Brenda has her own sheep, and she was going to share some of her fiber from her sheep. And so I received this lovely Cormo combed top from her sheep named Pippin. So it's just an undyed 4-ounce Cormo. And I have never spun Cormo before, so I'm very looking forward to that. And it's kind of a silvery, shiny fleece. It's hard to see on the camera, especially through the bag. And I love the sheep's name, Pippin. So I will probably spin this color. I have never dyed anything before, and I'm not sure I would want this to be my first experiment in dyeing. So thank you, Brenda, for that. Now, additionally to that, she was so kind. She was going to send me chocolate. She asked me what type of chocolate I preferred, and I quickly told her, please do not do not mail me chocolate to Texas because it will melt and it will be unrecognizable and unsavable. So she sent me more fiber instead of chocolate, and I think I made out well. This is a beautiful South African fine wool merino, 4 ounces of combed top in the colorway Dijon. So another mustard, so that's exciting. And this is by the Spunky Eclectic. So that was a lovely surprise. I can always use more spinning fiber. Additionally, she sent me this beautiful project bag, and it is by Duckpool Lane. And I don't think I've ever bought a project bag, so this was exciting to get a professionally made project bag with a little pocket and the little clip handle and a zipper. I don't know how to put a zipper in, so that's on my learning list that I need to do. So very lovely little project bag. This mini notions pouch and some adorable stitch markers. This is just a little assortment. If I can show these. Little sheep. I love this little nest. Little sweet llama. Little pig. And a few other little cute guys in here. So, like I said, very fun to receive a prize from a friend. And the very last thing she sent me was this little sock tool. And it has the anatomy of a sock on the front and the instructions for Kitchener stitch on the back, which I always forget how to start my Kitchener stitch, so that will be handy. Those were my prizes from just our little friendly tour de fleece. So now I would like to talk to you about some of my hand-spun works in progress. I have been working on this lilacs and marigold shawl, I think all summer, so you've seen this before, but it is getting quite large, and I am on the second to last section, and now I'm getting to decide whether or not I want to do the picot edging. So it seems a little like a fussy bind off to me, and I'm not sure I want to do it. So, but maybe it'll be worth it. So I tried to put it on 2 needles, so I can stretch it out better. And I would say that this shawl has been very fun to knit. It is a 2-color DK weight shawl. It works great for hand spun because you could have 2 4-ounce braids in 2 different colors and spin them approximately a DK weight, and you would be able to knit this shawl. So you could probably even do it out of a sport weight, or I mean a light worsted is close to a DK. So this was all Navajo plied, chain plied fiber that I had done last spring, and I'll show you the balls that I have left. So this is what I have left, and this was by Dawning Dreams fiber, and this one I bought at Rhinebeck. It was a gradient bump, so this is the darkest, or getting to the very darkest part of the gradient. So in the shawl, I started with the lightest part of the gradient, and then I'm working my way towards the darkest. In the pattern, you would have this color be the picot edging, but I think what I'm going to do is use this, the end of the gradient, as the edging, because I think I have a little bit more of this one, and I think it would be nice to see the gradient kind of finalize. So this is where I was the last time I showed it, so I've done this open work section, and I have one more repeat of these lattices. So this seemed a little bit like a mystery shawl because I did not print the picture with the pattern, and then the instructions didn't have any kind of like, this is what this section is going to look like. So I just had to follow, and it wasn't charted, so I had to follow the written instructions, and it was sort of a surprise what each part was going to turn out like. So this will be done very soon because I want to be focusing my September efforts on a different handspun shawl. So in the month of September, my Fancy Reading and Needle Crafts Club is kicking off. If you are interested in joining us, we are doing a book discussion on Telegram about Louisa May Alcott's An Old-Fashioned Girl. It's a very nice group of ladies that have come together, and all of us are trying to do projects, knit things that kind of go along with the theme of the book. So Holly of Mystery Mouse Knits dyed up some beautiful yarn for us, and I might end up knitting that as well as this shawl that I want to knit. And Susan of Delightful Works made a gorgeous project bag that is very vintagey and sweet, and she might have more of those available to go with our book club. But so if you're interested in joining the book club, please let me know very soon so I can get you in, because our discussion starts on Tuesday, September 5th, which is coming right up. Now, my project that I want to focus my efforts on is this old shell Shetland shawl that I started out of Handspun last, I think it was February, so half a year ago. And I have just always wanted to knit a huge square Shetland shawl, and this is out of Country Weekend Knits by Madeline Weston. And so I have been knitting this edge piece. Now, The yarn that I spun that I'm using for this is the Malabrigo Nube in the Plomo color, which is the gray tones colorway. And for this edge part, I applied it on itself, so it's all gray. And then for this center area, where they have cream, I have the gray Plomo applied with an undyed Polworth. So I will be using that more marled yarn for the center. And then I plan for all of these stripes to use Knit Picks palette, and I haven't decided which colors yet that I'm going to use. But I will, oh look, it's on the back of the book too. Because it's so pretty. Such a pretty design. So I'm gonna probably have to decide soon, but the way you knit the border, you knit the border first, and you knit one whole triangle side, and then you knit the other whole triangle side of just the border. So this is about 6, the smallest it gets is 6 stitches, and then it goes up to, I believe, 12 stitches at the points, and you just start on one corner and you just keep going like a really long sawtooth scarf. So I probably have 4 feet, and I am not done yet. So this is going to be a large shawl. And here is the gray Plomo applied on itself. The nice thing about 2-ply Handspun is it is very soft and drapey. It's really excellent for lace work. So I think this is all going to block out really, really lovely when I get to the blocking stage. So I believe after I knit these edges, I will pick up stitches to do the stripy part, and then I don't know, I haven't read the whole pattern, so it's going to be exciting. But I really, really, really want to focus my efforts on this in September so that I can get it well on its way to being completed, because I don't like it just sitting around not being worked on. So I'm going to finish that Lilacs and Marigolds shawl. I'm going to finish it today or tomorrow. I am determined. We're taking Labor Day off from school, so I can really focus some time on wrapping up that shawl so that then I can focus on my other Handspun shawl. So then, speaking of things sitting around languishing, I have a UFO for you. So while I was fluffing my stash, I came across this project bag in a back corner of my shelf. This is the first project bag I ever sewed. So I made these for, I think, the second time that I participated in the Tour de Fleece with friends. And I made these bags to give to all of my friends that were participating. So cute little bicycles. This is out of the absolute cheapest cotton from Joann's, but you know what? Actually, I think it was Joann's. Who knows? It was 2014. So it could have been from anywhere, and it's held up. Still very, very bright. Still here. Still works. So I found this and I thought, oh, what is in that bag? And lo and behold, it was a Handspun UFO. Now this project is, I had the original pattern still, To Infinity and Beyond by Joji Locatelli. And it is a infinity lace cowl. And I was knitting this out of Daybreak Dye Works Desert Sky Falkland. And this was a very long time ago spin, so 2014. And I chain plied this. I do love a good chain ply. And the colorway is just such a beautiful, subtle sky. I have two. And I think I wrote down that I had maybe 300 yards. I'm not sure. But I know it was enough to knit the cowl. Now, here's what I had done. So I only knit about an inch of this. And if it was in 2014, I know why. I was having a baby. And I'm sure I was having all kinds of brain issues. But because baby brain is real. But so I have done, this is a cable and lace cowl. I don't know why I picked this. It is very, very beautiful. It's on this like super cheap craft store needle that's all wonky. And I think I'm going to frog it because I haven't done very much. I'm sure my tension and my gauge would be different today, and I think it would be easier to knit on a different type of circular needle. So these are fine. I'm not a needle snob, but when it's all scrunched up like this, it is harder to knit. So I think I will frog it, and I think I would like the cowl. I mean, I definitely want something out of this. This is gorgeous. And we'll see. But for now, I have other handspun projects going on, and I just need to make a decision about it so it's not just sitting there. And if I was going to knit it again, I would want to restart it. So I'm going to go ahead and frog this one. Before I show you my spinning wheel, I want to show you the spinning that my 12-year-old has done. So for my daughter's 12th birthday in August, I bought her her own drop spindle. And this is from the Homestead Fiber Crafts Market in Waco. And it is just a very simple, sturdy top whirl drop spindle. And I would say that if you're learning how to drop spindle and you are clumsy or you are a child, this is the way to go. So she has been spinning Corriedale, which is a great beginner fiber. It is very thick and grabby, so it is not going to slip apart. So she's been spinning this Corriedale with her drop spindle. Still almost got it. And this one is very like artsy. You can tell when she got bored or, you know, let bigger chunks get through. This was the first yarn she spun with it. Pretty good. I think these were little like 1/2 ounce. I don't know what they're called because it's not a braid. Little 1/2 ounce bump of Corriedale. And then this is the second one she spun, which is just really good. look how even that is. And she made me laugh because she actually packed it up and took it in a bag with us when we were going places, and then she would be spinning just like in a corner wherever we would happen to be. And I thought, I want to do that too. So maybe I'll pack up my spindle next time. So usually I have responsibilities. So I'm very, very proud of her. She has done an excellent job. And some of the things I'm going to show you at the end of this episode are for her, that one of my friends sent me so that she can continue pursuing her gift of spinning. She's doing an excellent job. So now I am going to try to rearrange things a tiny bit so that I can show you my wheel, and you will get kind of a little spinning wheel tour in case you are not familiar with spinning wheels. If you are familiar with spinning wheels, or you know just a ton more than I do, which is very, very possible, you can skip over this portion until you see the goodies at the end of the episode. So I might have to move my camera around a few times so that you see a few different angles, but this is an Ashford Traveler all wood spinning wheel. I purchased this in 2013. It was a Mother's Day gift that my husband and I kind of picked out together because he knew I was really getting interested in expanding my fiber arts. The reason I chose the Ashford Traveler was it's not a budget wheel, but it's a less expensive wheel. It's all compact. If you can see, it is a standing wheel where this is the wheel and the all the parts are right here. It's not like the big Sleeping Beauty spinning wheel. It also has a built-in Nitty Naughty, I think this, no, Lazy Susan, Lazy Kate, Lazy somebody, where all the bobbins sit as you fill them. So you fill it with fiber, you leave it here, and then you ply off of these back onto the flyer. So you didn't have to buy a separate Lazy Kate for this wheel, which is a big reason why I chose it. I also wanted something somewhat portable, and while it is not small, it's pretty easy to put in the back seat of a car, and you can just put a seat belt around it, so it travels pretty well. And it's got the treadles down at the bottom. It is a double treadle, and it does do Scotch tension, and I forget what the other one is called, but I don't spin with Scotch tension. I actually even lost, it's not lost, it's somewhere. I lost the little thing you use to do that. I do whatever the other one is called. I will look it up and put it at the bottom of the screen. Now, this is my bobbin that I am filling right now. As you can see, it is almost full. These Ashford Traveler bobbins hold about 2 ounces. They can hold a little more than that, but they start getting very full. So right now I am spinning for a 3-ply. So what I will end up having is 3 bobbins, each with a different color of fiber. And then I will put an empty bobbin on the flyer to ply onto. So because this is my only wheel and because I only have 4 bobbins, if I'm trying to make a 3-ply handspun, I can't spin anything else. I can only work on that until it's done because I don't have extra bobbins that I can swap out. Okay. So this is the flyer, and this is what your bobbin that you are spinning onto goes on, and there is spinning wheel grease to help it spin smoothly. I don't know what this is called, but it goes on the end of the bobbin to hold it all together, and that way your bobbin does not fly off when it's spinning. Now, these little hooks are how you get your fiber to spread out over the flyer. There are some flyers that have a hook that moves. So it's constantly going back and forth and your bobbin fills smoothly. With this type of a flyer, you have to watch it and stop and move the strand yourself. So basically you would move it to a different part once you feel like the part before it was getting full. And I try to fill mine really evenly, but sometimes I get carried away and you end up with like a mountain in one spot because you don't stop soon enough to move it. But it's not, it's not trouble to have to move it. All right, so now I'm going to show you how I put this up here. So this little hole, you can see that. I'm going to move this up because you don't need to see the bottom anymore. This little hole is where the black part of the flyer, this is the orifice that your strand of wool is going to come out. That goes through here. And then you hook it into this other one on the back. It just sits in there. Okay. And these, you don't screw them on super tight. Mine is like extra loose right now, so I need to tighten it. But these should be able to move a little bit, this part, so that you can get the flyer on and off. So then this is going to move as you're treadling. But the reason it moves while you're treadling is because of the string. And the string is called the drive band. Okay, I changed location. So the string, mine is just a cotton string that I buy at Walmart and I replace it when it seems like it's getting old. And this is the drive band. So this is around your wheel. And my wheel's double drive. I think that's the word I couldn't remember before. So it's not just a single drive band. It's got two pieces that are, it's like an infinity circle. So these pieces go up over what you're working on. And I'm going to raise this so it's tighter. So you have all these little parts that you can adjust. All my stuff seems loose. And since I spin double drive, I put one of the bands over that part that clicks on that I showed you, and the other part of the band goes on the actual bobbin. It goes around this part of the bobbin. So then when you treadle and this wheel moves, it spins your bobbin. And that does two things. It adds twist to your wool, and it also pulls the wool in to make it go on the bobbin. So what you need to do in order to spin is you have to thread your wool strand through the orifice right here so that it comes out. And this is the part that you would be holding onto while you spin. Now, you don't start spinning with a full bobbin like that. And that is why I have all this pink yarn attached to my other bobbins. That is because this is called a leader. And it leads your yarn from your wool, from wherever you're spinning, onto your bobbin when you don't have anything on there yet. I think some people can like hand spin a little bit and then attach it, but it's really easiest just to use a little bit of yarn, and I have reused the same yarn for years because you just leave it on there, and anytime you start spinning you thread this through the orifice, and it's 2 pieces. See how it's got a knot in there? And that is so you can take your new part that you're spinning and tuck it in there and fold it in half. And that way it's really well attached to start off with. Okay, so this was the end of one of my little, I separated it out, my braid of fiber into little nests so that I could spread out the colors more. So this is my next little nest of fiber, and what I'm going to do is, because wool is so sticky, you can just kind of put it together, and as you add spin, they will just spin together and they will not come apart. So I'm going to spin a tiny bit and show you that. And the one thing you have to do is you have to draft the wool. So you have to pull it very gently so that you pull out just the amount of fibers that you want to make the thickness of thread that you are looking for. So if I didn't draft it all and I just spun this the way it is, it would just be a big, thick yarn. But since I want a very thin yarn because I'm planning to make a 3-ply, I have to very carefully pull on the yarn and make it kind of come apart, but not so much that it falls apart completely, because you want it to stay attached. So, and I would say that this is not necessarily my normal spinning posture, just because I'm trying to I'm trying to make it show up on the video. Okay, so since this is a double drive, not only is it adding this twist to my fiber, see how thin that is? But it also is pulling it onto the bobbin. So it's filling the bobbin and pulling it from my hands. A lot of new spinners have trouble because they feel like it's just ripping the wool out of their hands. But you really have to go slow and gently, and know that you can slow down. So you don't have to feel like it's running away from you. You can slow down and catch up. So, and then when I'm done spinning, I wrap what I have just a little bit around here so that it doesn't keep moving if somebody hits the wheel, which happens a lot at my house. I actually stopped spinning for several years because my youngest son thought this was a tractor, and you could not explain it to him anyway. He wanted to touch it, so it took a long time for him to learn not to do that. So hopefully you just saw my spinning demonstration. I am really hoping that that video turns out okay. What I was spinning was this fiber. This is the second half of it. Here's another little nest. So I broke each half of the braid into, I think, 8 little nests, maybe more than that, because I wanted little short color changes. And then this is the other half, which I have not divided into nests yet. So this is 4 ounces. It's from Duran Dye Works, and it is 100% Polworth. And Polworth is one of my favorite spinning fibers to spin. It's got nice, like, fluffiness and a very woolly, but it's not scratchy. So it's a fun fiber to spin. So I said I was making a 3-ply, and I'm doing it with 3 different 4-ounce bumps. So each one is slightly different colors, and I think once they're all put together, it's going to be just a big cohesive 12 ounces of fiber. Now you saw how thin I'm trying to spin it. That is because I'm hoping to get a lot of yardage, and I don't know what I'm gonna knit with it. I'm just spinning it for the joy of trying something new, since my first 3-ply that I made ended up being a heavy worsted. I'm trying to see how thin do I have to spin it to get a thin 3-ply. So if you talk to spinners, you often hear that you think it's so hard to get to where you can spin thin and even, but then once you get that, it's hard to go back. It's hard to go back and spin thicker. So it's all a learning process all the time. So I didn't bring one of the other fibers here, but my friend Caitlin of Hartley's Handmade, which is another spinning heavy podcast, traded fiber with me. So I sent her 2 braids of fiber, and she sent me 2 braids of fiber, and so that was a lot of fun to trade. But she sent me this beautiful purple, green, and pink, which is going to be the second in this 3-ply, and then the other one she sent me is even more heavy green and mossy, but still has purple in it. So I'm really hoping that the 3 go together really well, and I will be sure to show you as they get going. Now this one is a created by Elsie B. She makes beautiful hand-dyed fiber. And looks like she has a website and Etsy, so you can check her out. Now, Caitlin was so sweet. She included a bonus for me, some Rolags, and Rolags is a different fiber preparation. I believe they're made on a blending board, and they're these little funny worm spinning fibers. So you would spin off the end of one of these and just work your way through the whole Rolag. And these are actually pretty great for drop spindling because it's compact. And it looks like this set that she sent me is called Autumn Comfort, and it is a gradient. So it starts with this lightest one and works it down to the darkest. So funny. So thank you so much, and go check out her podcast, Hartley's Handmade. Um, she is in my little online spinning group, and we just have a great time talking fiber. So the other things I have to show you were an unexpected surprise. When I started the Fluff Your Stash Mal, I was not expecting to benefit from that, but my friend Ellen said that she was fluffing her fiber stash and she wanted to know if my daughter would be interested in any of her more coarse wools that she really wasn't planning on doing anything with, and they're great for kids. And I said, yes, of course. I know my daughter would love that because she's always trying to get into my stuff, and and she can go through yarn and fiber just as fast as I can. So I was very grateful for her to send me some things, and I am going to show you what she sent. So this first one is undyed wool from her Romney Cross Bubbles and Dandy. So this is something I think I will spin because it is lovely. Let me see if I can take one out. So I think this is a preparation called Silvered, maybe? Shauna of Shauna's Stitches, she had some fiber like this. So it's not a braid of wool, it's kind of combed and then already fluffed out for you to spin. And look at how bouncy this is. That is super bouncy and squishy. So this is a Romney Cross. I have never spun this. It feels fabulous. And it looks like there is at least 12 ounces of this. So this will be very exciting. Next, she included these dyed bits and pieces. And this is for felting. And you don't know how grateful I am for this. And I told Ellen over and over again how grateful I am because I'm teaching a art class at my homeschool co-op this year, and one of our projects is felting soap. So I was going to have to round up a whole bunch of different fun colors of wool that would felt for my class, and I hadn't really decided how I was going to go about doing that without spending too much money. To keep my class affordable, and then Ellen sent this, which is perfect. So my little class of 4th and 5th graders at the homeschool co-op are going to get to felt some bars of soap with this lovely, colorful felting wool. Next, she included this 2 ounces of Cormo mohair. So it's 87% Cormo and 13% mohair. This will be interesting to try as well. And then this is a mixed bag of sheepy curls. Look at that. What do you do with this? Someone tell me. It looks so fun. And then here is what she sent for my daughter primarily. Okay, this is like what I gave my daughter for her birthday, and now she has more to practice with. So these are Ashford Corriedale Silver, and they are just perfect for drop spindling. So it's little bumps of fiber in different colors. This is so fun for learning how to spin with. It's 100% pure New Zealand wool, and like I said, Corriedale is the best for learning to drop spindle because it is so grabby. And here There's a lovely green one. So my daughter thanks you, Ellen. She is going to have a blast with that. And then the surprise in the package was a whole lot of felting, needle felting tools. And needle felting is something we have not really experimented with a whole lot. My daughter made one little needle felted dog for my son for Christmas, but we haven't really experimented past that. So there are some needles, some needle felting boards to work into, and some more of these little safety needles. I think they're safety needles. They are sharp. Maybe they're not safety. So these would be used with the fiber and these little boards so that you can needle felt things that you're making. Oh, here's the little safety ones. This is the kind I have. It has this little shield. And then when you press down, the needles come out. You can see that. So that way, you have to be on the board kind of to felt. So thank you so much, Ellen. This is going to be a lot of fun to try out with my kids, and I know for sure that my spindling 12-year-old is going to have so much fun with the Corriedale fiber. And I will update you on what my class thinks of felting soap. But thank you all for watching today. Remember to leave a question in the comments for my Q&A if you would like to win my 1-year anniversary giveaway, and say hello to me at the DFW Fiber Fest, and then also just have a great week and enjoy what you are crafting.